Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have no makeup on because I wanted to film a get ready with me. I have a new face and eye makeup routine that I have been doing every single day that I've been loving. So I wanted to share it on camera with you guys today because I shared it over on my Insta stories a couple weeks ago and I didn't really explain any of the steps. I just showed myself doing my makeup on stories and I got a bunch of messages of people asking me about certain products or how to apply certain products. So I wanted to do this video so it's a little bit more in depth of how I do my actual face and eye makeup. As you can probably tell, I am very sleepy. It's 7 a.m. One of my goals for the new year was to wake up at 6:30 every day and to get ready every day. So if you would like to see my current makeup routine, just keep watching. My skincare is all done. I have prepped my face with moisturizer and eye cream and my favorite Tula under eye balm that wakes my eyes up. I'm sorry, I still have a tired voice. Hopefully it gets better in video. But the first thing I like to do is prep my face with the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist because I have very dry skin, and since it's the winter, my skin just gets even more dry. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing a lot of tips for girls with dry skin. So if you have dry skin, make sure to watch this entire video because I have a lot of really good tips for how to make your skin look more dewy and hydrated. So the first thing I do is just spray a little bit of this on my face. And you don't need much. I'm used to a setting mist or just like a facial spray where I have to spray a ton on my face to get a lot of that dewiness. But this one is so incredibly dewy that if you do too much, your face is gonna look greasy. So we don't want that. So just do like a couple sprays of that. And then the first thing I do after that is I take this Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in the shade 2. This is what it looks like. This is one of my favorite steps, and this is also another thing that is going to help any of you girls out there with really dry skin. So I place this on the high points of my face, like where you would place a highlighter. And then I'm going to blend it out with my beauty blender. My mirror is down here, so that is why I will be looking over there for a lot of the video. And then take your damp beauty blender. Always make sure it's damp. It really doesn't work if it's dry. So I'm just blending this all over just to give me like a really nice dewy and hydrated base before I put my foundation and my powders on. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my Becca Under Eye Corrector. I use it in the shade light to medium. I have to do this step because as you can see, I have very, very dark under eye circles. So I just don't ever skip this step. Normally I apply this with a brush, but I could not find it this morning, so I'm just going to use my finger, which also works. So someone asked me when I was doing this little makeup routine on my Instagram stories if you can use this in place of a concealer. My answer is no, because this is just going to correct the darkness because it's kind of that like salmon-y peachy color, if you can tell. So that's just going to help to cancel out the dark tones like the purples and the blues under the eyes, but it doesn't replace concealer. You still need to put concealer on top. So I'm going to blend it out. But it was a good question asking if this can replace concealer, but you do still need to use both. Okay, now that our under eyes have been corrected a little bit more, I'm gonna go in with my foundation. Today I'm gonna use my Dior Forever Skin Glow. I love this. I wear this in the shade 2N. I go between this one and my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in shade 5. I love both of them equally. The reason why I'm using this one today is because it is a little bit of a darker shade and I did a self tan a couple days ago, so this one just matches me better. So I apply it with my beauty blender. I think you get the most beautiful coverage. I just feel like when I've used a brush in the past, I get brush stroke marks on my face and I just don't like that, but a beauty blender is just so smooth and it just applies so flawlessly. So I kind of just dot it all over my face and then just blend it in. And this has a really nice glow to it. It's not super, super dewy, but because I have that Tatcha setting mist already on my face and that Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, this is definitely gonna look more dewy, which is what I'm going for. And then always make sure to blend out on your jawline and down your neck because you don't want that line of demarcation where your face is orange and then your neck is white. My next step is concealer. I have used the Tarte Shape Tape for years. I don't see myself really ever using anything else unless something else comes out that's better than this. This is probably the most full coverage concealer on the market. That is why I love it so much. I wear this in the shade Light, and I use a lot. I gave this disclaimer when I was doing this on my Insta stories, and I said, I use a lot of this. You probably don't need to use this much if you don't have as severe dark under eyes as I do. So if you think it's a lot, it is a lot, but you don't have to use this much. This is just what I personally do to cover my darkness. So I go under my eyes kind of in an upside down triangle. Then I'm going to highlight in between my brows, down my nose, above my lip on my cupid's bow, and my chin. And then if I have any like little blemishes or dark spots or anything like that, I will also cover those and then just blend out with Beauty Blender. And then I will also take the leftover concealer that's on my Beauty Blender, and I am going to go over my eyelids. And then once I set my face with powder, I'm also going to set my eyelids, and then that preps my eyes for eyeshadow. Now that my foundation and concealer are completely done, it's time to add the powders. So I'm going to use my favorite face powder by Charlotte Tilbury. This is in shade 1. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. And the first thing I'm going to do is set my under eyes. This is a Sigma brush, the tapered highlighter. I have had this for years. This is one of my favorite brushes. It's perfect for setting the under eyes. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my powder and just really get in there and set my under eyes. And I kind of like to dab and push the product into my eyes rather than swiping, because I don't want to remove any of the concealer or the liquids that I put on my face. I'm just trying to dab it to set everything in. And then, like I had mentioned earlier, I'm also going to set my eyelids. Now that my eyes are all set, I'm going to use my same exact powder for my face. I love this Morphe brush. It's from the Jaclyn Hill collection. It's so big and fluffy, and it's really soft. So I just dab into my powder, and then again, just going to dab my face. I'm not going to swipe it on. I'm just going to dab the powder on with this big brush, and it covers so much area of my face, which is so nice. So it takes no time at all just to set everything. And then don't forget to also set your neck. The next step is bronzer, which is one of my favorite steps. I love going from just like a one-dimensional face and adding so much dimension with bronzer and blush and highlighter and all of that fun stuff. So I love the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. It's such a pretty matte bronzer, and it's just a really nice color. So what I do is I take, this is another Morphe brush from the Jaclyn Hill collection. I just swirl my brush in and just tap off any extra product. And I'm going to start with my cheekbones, just trying to carve them out a little bit. I go in circular motions, and I'm really not applying very much pressure at all. I'm being very, very light-handed. I'm just going to try to carve out my cheekbone. Then I will move on to the next one. In between each part of my face, I am dabbing into my bronzer a little bit more. And then next is my forehead. Try to go as close to your hairline as possible. I have so many baby hairs. I lost so much hair after I had Kinsey, and now it's all growing back, and it's so crazy. So if you're like, what the heck are all of those hairs? Those are my baby hairs growing back. I'm grateful that they are growing back, but they're in a kind of funky stage right now. And then I am going to do my jawline. And then you guys already know what I'm going to do next, blend down my neck. Then I'm just going to take a little bit and bronze up my nose a little bit. I'm just trying to kind of go on either side of my nose to make it a little bit more slim looking, but I'm not like contouring by any means because this brush is too big for that. And then sometimes I just have to reevaluate and see how everything is looking, and I'm going to add just a little bit more overall, and then I'll be done with this. Okay. I'm happy with how the bronzer is looking, so the next thing I do is move on to blush, if I can find it in my bag. You guys have probably noticed that I've been using a lot of Charlotte Tilbury products. I just love her products so much. Everything I've ever tried from her line, I've been obsessed with. This is not sponsored. I wish it was sponsored by her because I love her so much and I love everything she makes. So if you're wondering why I have so many of her products, it's because I genuinely love them and I'm obsessed with them. So the blush that I use is by her. It is the Cheek to Chic Swish and Puff. I cannot talk this morning, Swish and Pop blusher in the shade Love Glow, which is such a beautiful color. So I'm just gonna kind of smile and put this on the apples of my cheeks and then kind of blend up to my cheekbones. And this is another brush from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe collab. I just think her brushes are amazing. I love them. I got the entire brush set, which also came with eye makeup brushes, and I use them every single day. And this has some shimmer in it, so it really makes you look glowy and luminous, which I love about this. I'm gonna run a little bit of it over my nose because I just think it gives a really natural, pretty sun-kissed look. So the next step in my routine is something that I love doing for all of my dry skin girls out there. You need to add this step to your routine because it helps make my face look so luminous and beautiful. So I take this Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Luminous Light. It looks like this. I learned this trick so many years ago. What you do is I just take my same blush brush, you just dip into this. I'm not going to apply this where you would normally apply highlighter. I am going to apply this pretty much all over my face. So I start with my cheeks and then I'm going to go on my forehead and down my nose, and it just gives you the most beautiful glow from within look. You guys will see in a second. This is so natural. So if you don't really like highlighter, I would recommend trying this powder out instead of a highlighter. This is not a blinding highlight at all. This is just a very natural, beautiful powder that gives you such a gorgeous sheen. This is really the trick of how I make my skin look super beautiful and alive, and that can be really hard to do if you have dry skin. So I swear, this is my secret powder. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend adding this step into your routine. So now I'm done with my face makeup. I'm gonna take my Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist one more time and just kind of spritz my face to set everything in place. And don't forget, a little goes a long way. Just 2 sprays, that's all I'm gonna do, and I literally just sprayed that in my coffee. Now it's time to move on to eye makeup. I have to just remove this foundation from my lips. I just cannot look at my white lips on camera anymore. But I am going to start doing my eye makeup, and the first thing I'm going to do is take this tiny little Charlotte Tilbury palette. I think these are so cute. They come with 4 shades. That's really all you need. This exact palette is called Exaggerize. I also have the same one in Pillow Talk. Love that one too. So the first thing I am going to do, I'm going to dip into these 2 shimmer shades and then just put them all over my eyelids. And this is just a random Morphe brush that I've had for a really long time. So that just gives a really pretty shimmer to your eyelids. You can also apply these shadows with your finger. So if you don't have an eye makeup brush, then don't worry about it. Just apply it with your finger and it will still look perfect. So the next thing I do is I actually take my bronzer, because this is such a pretty shade. It looks so beautiful on the eyes. So I just throw this into my crease. And I find that if you just put bronzer in your crease, it matches any eye look you're going for. So I just keep going back and forth until I have the desired look. Next, I'm gonna dip into my Charlotte Tilbury palette again. And just with this little tiny brush, I'm gonna dip into the lightest shade and just highlight my brow bone. I'll even take a little bit and add it to my inner corners just to make those really pop. And then I'm just gonna go in with the darkest matte shade in this palette, just like dab a tiny bit because these are super pigmented, and then just kind of go in the very outer corner of my eye just to add a little bit more dimension in my eyes. Now it's time for eyeliner. I like this tattoo liner by Kat Von D in the color Trooper Black. I'm gonna have to get in super close to this mirror just so I can be very precise. I just draw the thinnest line as close to my lash line as possible, and that is all I do. I don't do winged liner or anything like that. I just want to have the thinnest black line. So here I go. I'm actually not going to film this part because I have to get so close to my mirror. I'm going to be out of the shot, so I will show you guys what it looks like afterwards. So the liquid liner is done. So now what I do is I take the darkest shade in the Charlotte Tilbury Eye Quad, and I just take this little brush and I just kind of go over the line, just because I don't want it to be a harsh black line. I just want everything to be really blended and melted together. So I just have to move my eyelash extensions, and then I just go over it just to kind of buff everything out and make it look really natural. The next step I do is I take another Charlotte Tilbury product. I'm sure you're not surprised. This is the color Chameleon. It's in the shade Amber Haze. I love this. This is such a pretty color. I put this on my lower lash line. So I just apply this. You can be pretty messy with this and it still ends up looking really pretty. I don't go all the way in to my inner corner. I go a little bit more than halfway. I'm not putting this on my waterline. I'm just putting this underneath. And then I'm gonna take that same little brush. Where did it go? I'm going to use the same brush that I just blended out the upper eyeliner with, and I'm going to do the same thing, just blend it out on the lower lash line. Next, I take a nude eyeliner and I line my waterline. This helps make your eyes look super alive and awake. It covers up kind of the red that is already on your waterline, and it just conceals it with this nude color. I cannot skip this step. This is one of my favorites. The next step is mascara, and that is the last step in the eye makeup routine. And normally I don't wear mascara on my lash extensions, but since I'm getting them filled tomorrow, they are a little sparse, so I am going to put this mascara on. This is by Maybelline. It's called the Snapscara. I love this. I will put this on my lash extensions and on my lower lashes. I don't recommend putting mascara on if you do have lash extensions. If you do it, your lash artist might yell at you, so don't blame me. But like I said, I'm only doing it because I am getting a fill tomorrow, and I just feel like they need a little extra something. Now that my face and eye makeup is complete, I am going to set my eyebrows really fast. I don't fill in my eyebrows on a daily basis. I just use this Charlotte Tilbury tinted brow gel. This is in the shade Linda, which is just a really pretty soft brown color. I just brush my brows in place and it just fills them in really nicely without having to use a brow pencil. This does come in a few other shades, so just depending on your hair color and your brow color, there will be a perfect shade for you. The last step for face makeup is my lip combo, which I can't wait to share with you guys because it's honestly one of my favorite things and it's pretty simple. So let me grab it. Jeez, I'm making a lot of noise. So first, I just like to prep my lips with a little lip balm. This is Glossier, the balm.com in mint. I love this. So this is just kind of prepping my lips and just makes them feel really nice and hydrated. And then I line my lips with my favorite lip liner of all time. This is Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. I'm just going to line my lips. And the Charlotte Tilbury pencils, lip pencils, glide on so smoothly. That is one of the reasons I like them so much. So that is what I do with the lip liner. I line my lips and then I'll fill them in just like a little bit on the sides. And you could leave it at this. I think this looks super pretty just with the lip balm and the lip liner, but I just do one more thing. I take this NARS, let's see what it's called, the Afterglow Lip Balm. It's this really pretty pinky shade and it just makes your lips look really pretty and it adds just a little bit of color to them. So this is what the lip combo looks like. I think it's super pretty and really natural just for a daily basis. I have another nude lip combo that I do if I'm going out or going out to dinner, but for just a daily basis when I'm just gonna be around the house and like filming or doing Insta stories, this is what my go-to is and I love it. Okay guys, I'm coming in close so you can see the final makeup look. I just love this look so much. It's so hydrating and dewy, and that is what I love being a dry girl. I love having my skin look as beautiful and hydrated as possible, and all of these steps that I've taken really help that. So I hope you guys found this helpful, especially if you have dry skin. I hope you guys will try out some of these tips. If you do, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite tip was, or let me know if you try any of the products that I suggested. If you guys liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That will let me know that you want to see more videos like this in the future. Also, don't forget to subscribe before you go. Hit the subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you're notified each time I upload a new video. Go ahead and also follow me on Instagram. I share daily beauty tips over there on my stories, so I would love it if you guys would also follow along with me there. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.